What's good, fam? Teacher ready with an ERB reaction? Doctor Who versus Doc Brown. Back to the Future, Doctor Who. Who do I choose? You know who. Doctor Who. Even though I love Doc Brown, love Back to the Future. I actually saw it in the movie theaters as a kid. Yes, that's how old I am. But without further ado, let's get into the battle by ERB. Begin.
Doc Brown! What's it? Doctor Who!
Ooh, actually, if you don't mind, it's just the doctor. Doesn't even really matter who. Who am I even talking to? Oh, yes, you. The wannabe Einstein, mad as the star. Travels through time, but with no cloud. Saving the world by your dilly-dally. You can't even invent a way out of Hill Valley. Calm down!
Damn. So we're going with my favorite Doctor, which is the 10th Doctor, David Tennant. Absolute #1 favorite by far, not even close. And he is coming out hard. So the announcer announces him as Doctor Who. He's not actually referred to as Doctor Who in the series. He's just referred to as the Doctor. So he's correcting the announcer by saying, it's just the Doctor.
It's just the doctor. Doesn't even really matter who. Who am I even talking to? Oh, yes, you.
And he's like, he's not even concerned with Doc Brown. He's like, wait, who am I even battling here? Oh, yeah, you. Yeah.
Wannabe Einstein, mad as the star.
Wannabe Einstein minus the stash. So in the Back to the Future movies, Doc Brown is an absolute super fan, obsessed with Einstein, who is his idol, and he even names his dog Einstein. And he does resemble Einstein as far as, you know, the crazy hairdo, minus the mustache, of course. So he's calling him a fake Einstein.
Travels through time, but with no cloud. Saving the world by your dilly-dally.
Travels through time with no class. So the Doctor is known for, and especially the 10th Doctor, for, you know, just being very stylish. You know, the way he dresses, the way he, you know, takes care of himself, his hair, his appearance is very important to him. So he sees himself as a refined individual, whereas Doc Brown is a rather unkempt, crazy looking old kook, you know, in a one piece and a, you know, lab coat and all that stuff. And he's saying, I'm saving the world while you dilly dally. Which is true. I mean, the Doctor has saved, you know, not just the world, but many different worlds multiple times. He's saved the universe, the galaxy, I mean, just everything. You know, throughout different, you know, parts of time, because as a Time Lord, the Doctor can travel to various parts of time from the beginning all the way to the end of times. While Doc Brown just dilly-dallies around, meaning, you know, he just, you know, fucks around basically. And he's always constantly messing up time and getting, you know, making mistakes, having to go back and fix them. So he's saying you don't really do much as far as time travel goes.
You can't even invent a way out of Hill Valley. Calm down, will you? Everything is going to be fine.
Yeah, he's saying you can't even invent a way out of Hill Valley. So Hill Valley is a fictional town, I guess, or city in California, which all 3 movies take place in. So no matter what time they're traveling to, so the original movie takes place in 1985. In the first movie, they go back from 1985 to 1955. Then they have to get back to the future, hence the name of the movie, to 1985. In the second movie, they travel to 30 years into the future, into 2015. Then they end up going back to 1985. Everything's messed up. They have to go back to 55. It's a whole thing. And then in the third movie, they go all the way back to 1885, and it becomes a Western. But all the time, it's taking place in just this one place, which is Hill Valley. So he's saying, look, you know, the Doctor travels all the known galaxies, universes, everything. Meanwhile, Doc's just stuck in Hill Valley, right? and he's telling him to remain calm, which is something that the doctor does. You know, he always, you know, even in the worst situations, he's constantly telling people, it's going to be okay, let's calm down, take it easy. And he says, you're not going to tear any wonky holes.
You're not gonna tear any wonky holes in any fabric of space and time. Actually, it's a lot more like a rug, really. Oh, but never mind. Let's just...
Yeah, so, yeah, that's funny. I like that. That's a reference to, in probably, arguably, the best Doctor Who episode, which is called Blink. Just amazing episode of Doctor Who. Just really intense. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. It's the one episode I would recommend for everybody to watch. But in it, he tries to explain, you know, time, space-time, alternate dimensions, alternate realities, multiverses, and every time he tries to explain it, he tries to explain it in, you know, simplistic, you know, ways. Like, it's kind of like a rug, right? Because a rug is fabric, the fabric of space and time, and also wonky holes refers to, one of the, most famous lines, I guess, or quotes from the 10th Doctor, you know, timey-wimey stuff, which is a speech he gives in which he tries to explain to, you know, the people in the show, like, you know, time travel and everything else. And that is actually one of Doc Brown's biggest fears in the movie, and why at the end of the second movie he wants to destroy the time machine, which is actually a DeLorean, and because he's afraid that they're messing too much with time and that can create a rift in the space-time continuum.
In any fabric of space and time. Actually, it's a lot more like a rug, really. Oh, but never mind. Let's just say there's an infinite number of me simultaneously kicking your ass with rhymes.
Yeah, so that's a reference to the multiverse. And even if you're not familiar with Doctor Who or Back to the Future, most of you are probably familiar with Avengers Endgame. That also relies heavily on the multiverse and how there are an infinite number of universes that have the same, like there's, you know, an infinite number of Eddies, for example, throughout all the different multiverses, and each one of us is individual, different, unique, have different personalities, etc., etc. So he's basically saying that there's an infinite number of me's all throughout the multiverses, and we're all kicking your ass simultaneously at the same time. Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff.
But never mind. Let's just say there's an infinite number of me simultaneously kicking your ass with rhymes.
Great Scott, you're great! Not. I spit it hard and generate way more power than 1.21 gigawatts.
Oh boy. All right. They went with that reference. So
say
Great
there's an
Scott.
infinite number of me simultaneously kicking your ass with rhymes.
Great Scott, you're great! Not. I spit it hard.
Yeah, so Great Scott is something that Dr. Emmett Brown, I think it's Emmett M. Brown, if I'm not mistaken, brilliantly portrayed by Christopher Lloyd. Great Scott is something that he repeatedly says throughout all three movies, especially when it's something that disturbs him. He's like, Marty, Great Scott! So Great Scott, he's saying, you're great, and then he says, not, which is like an 80s kind of insult. Like, oh man, yeah, you're really funny. Not. So it makes sense since the movies take place in the 80s. And he says he spits it hot, which is a reference to, of course, spitting hot rhymes. Could also be a reference to the plutonium that is necessary to run the time machine as far as heat goes and heat generation. Or when the DeLorean travels through time, it leaves fire from the skid marks because it's going 88 miles an hour. Once this hits 88 miles an hour, Marty, you're going to see some serious shit.
And generate way more power than 1.21 gigawatts.
Yeah, so he's saying, you know, with his rhymes, he's generating more power than 1.21 gigawatts. So this is a reference to the first movie. So when Marty originally travels back to 1955, he has to go and find Doc Brown. Now, of course, Doc Brown has no clue who this kid is. So eventually he believes him because he tells him information that nobody else could know about Doc Brown. And he explains to him through a video recording that he took of Doc Brown explaining how the time machine works. He says that the energy needed to make the time machine work is equivalent to 1.21 gigawatts, when actually in the text here it's spelled correctly, it's gigawatts, but for whatever reason in the movie he says gigawatts, and he pronounces it the same way, which I find funny. So he says 1.21 gigawatts.
Way more power than 1.21 gigawatts.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what sort of scientific authority you purport to be, but I'm a real doctor. Where'd you get your degree?
So again, he's saying, I'm Doc Brown. I actually have a degree. I'm an actual doctor. You know, where'd you get your degree? What are you, like Dr. Dre? You just decided to put doctor in your name? Well, you know, as far as what his authority would be, that's kind of a loaded question, which backfires a bit because he's a Time Lord. I mean, that's you don't get more authority on time travel than being a Time Lord. So yes, is he an actual doctor? Because the doctor has lived for who knows how many centuries, how many millennia. Nobody knows how long the doctor's actually been alive. He could be hundreds of years old. He could be thousands of years old. He could be hundreds of thousands of years old. But throughout all those different lifetimes, because there have been many different doctors, so every time the doctor dies, the doctor regenerates into a new form. And the doctor has up to 13 lives, right? So from the first doctor, the doctor can regenerate 12 more times. So that's a total of 13. And so every time he dies or she dies, as in there's been the latest doctor was the first female doctor. The doctor regenerates and has lived so long that the doctor does have a great deal of medical knowledge throughout the series. So it's not unfathomable that the doctor has, you know, gone to medical school or whatever it is. I mean, what's medical school to somebody who's lived for God knows how many years?
Despite all your companions, you couldn't be having less sex. I don't know what's lame, your fans or your special effects.
Ooh, damn. Oh, that one hurt. That one hurt. That one hurt, son. Okay, so let's go back for a second. So despite all your companions, so the doctor has many different companions throughout the series. Usually it's a female companion, but the doctor has no romantic feelings for any of his companions. It's more platonic. But they accompany him, you know, on his different missions. But to say you couldn't be having less sex, number one, River Song would like to have a word with you on that, because the doctor does have sex, and the doctor is married to River Song. And it's the same, you say the same thing with Doc Brown. I mean, not for nothing, but Doc Brown hangs around with a teenager way too much and doesn't seem to have any other friends and doesn't seem to have any love interests until the third movie. So yeah. So that line also kind of backfires on the doc.
Your companions, you couldn't be having less sex. I don't know what's lame, your fans or your special...
Yeah, so the Doctor Who fans are known, just like pretty much any nerd culture, whether it's Star Wars fans, Star Trek fans, Marvel fans, DC fans, whatever it may be, Doctor Who fans are very passionate. And of course, Doctor Who goes back 50 years. Which is longer than most TV shows and especially movies, you know, go back to. So yes, the fan base is very passionate about Doctor Who, and Doctor Who does have some cheap ass effects, especially the original run, but also even, you know, Eccleston's run and then David Tennant's run. Not the best special effects, though they have gotten better.
You don't get another turn to debate. Time to face your permanent fate. Now, Dalek my balls!
Oh, damn. He brought out the Daleks. Okay.
Are your fans or your special effects?
Oh, and they're... Oh, so he's making... They're making fun of it. They had the the TARDIS, which is this on my phone case. So that's what Doctor Who travels in when he travels through time. It's basically a British police call box. So if you need to contact the police, you go in there, kind of like when they had payphones back in the day. But it's a lot bigger on the inside. It's actually humongous on the inside. But they're making fun of it by having somebody pull it through the screen on a string, which is basically what they've done on the show to show it fly.
Facts! You don't get another turn to debate. Time to face your permanent fate. Now, Dalek my balls!
Dalek my balls. So that's on several different levels. So that remote control is actually the remote control he uses to operate the DeLorean in the first movie when he does a test run with Einstein, his dog, traveling 1 minute into the future. Now, the Daleks are a race of basically alien robots. They do have living organisms inside of them that operate it, but they are the Doctor's biggest enemies, and their whole thing is to kill the Doctor. That's their whole mission, is to kill the Doctor. And where they just go around and their catchphrase is exterminate, exterminate. So he's saying Dalek my balls. So reference to Daleks, but he's also saying, yo, suck on my nuts, son.
I'm going to die. At least this version of me. Perhaps you'd like another. Prepare to meet your density.
Oh, damn! Oh, wow. They went to the fourth Doctor. That's an interesting choice.
Like another. Prepare to meet your density.
And he says, prepare to meet your density. So instead of saying, prepare to meet your destiny, he says, prepare to meet your density, which is a reference to Back to the Future 1, Back to the Future, the first movie. When George McFly, Marty's eventual father in 1955, so Marty has to basically reconnect his parents, because by going back to 1955, he messed up them meeting for the first time. So his mom and dad don't meet. And if they don't meet, they don't have Marty, and hence Marty will be erased from all time. So he's trying to get George, who's, very nerdy, cowardly in the movie, to, make a move on Lorraine, his mom. And he walks up to her and he's fumbling and he's nervous. So instead of saying, I am your destiny, he says, Lorraine, I am your density. So it's a callback to the movie.
I'm a mystical medical talk at the pinnacle, shifting my physical form. You're a possibly pedophilic individual who should have never been born.
Ooh, damn. Yeah. So the fourth Doctor is famous for his scarves, and he's calling out what I mentioned before, the strange relationship between Marty and Doc. So Doc is he has to be in his 60s, I guess, in 1985, if not older, and he hangs out with this teenager who's still in high school, and it's a weird relationship, very weird. And he's also saying somebody who should never have been born. And actually, the Doctor could easily erase Doc Brown from existence. Doc Brown couldn't do it because where do you go back to? And plus, the time machine can't travel through, space and time and everything else. It could go to different destinations in the same area, right? So while the Doctor can travel to any point in time and anywhere in the universe, the Doctor can easily erase Doc Brown from existence.
You got your niggas in a twist while you're sucking on my Piccadilly, but I'm a lot different, because you're a pitiful hillbilly hanging with an edible kid who's a buck chicken.
Oh, damn. Oh, shit, Marty, Epic Lord is more. Oh, I love it.
Physical form. You're a possibly pedophilic individual who should have never been born.
So he's saying he's taken on a different form, but he's still the Doctor, right? So he still has all the Doctor's memories. So he's still battling the Doctor, just in a different form.
You got your knickers in a twist while you're sucking up.
You got your knickers in a twist. So knickers are, it's an English way of saying basically panties, right? So he's saying you got your panties in a twist, which is, what people say when people get, frustrated or whatever. Like, yo, calm down there, man. Don't get your panties in a twist. While you're sucking on my Piccadilly. Piccadilly is actually a reference to the first Doctor. I don't remember the name of the episode, but I believe Piccadilly, like Road or something was in the title of it. And I don't remember the name of the first Doctor. But he's saying, while you're sucking on my Piccadilly, so it's a reference to Doctor and the origin of the Doctor and the first episode and the first Doctor, but also Piccadilly, you know, being a reference for penis. You know, you got your panties in a twist while you're sucking my penis.
I'm a Piccadilly, but I'm a lot different. Cause you're a pitiful hillbilly hanging with an edible kid who's a buck chicken.
Yeah, so he's saying you're a pitiful hillbilly. So I guess maybe that's a reference to Hill Valley being kind of like, well, even though I don't really see it, but it is kind of like a kind of backwards town. You know, you got some racist people there and all that stuff. But he calls him you hang out with an Oedipal kid, which is a reference to Oedipus. Oedipus, who famously slept with his mother, and who the Oedipal complex, is named after, where, Freud's, people want to bang their mom, all that good stuff, right? When it comes to incest with your mom. So Marty, when he goes back to 1955, again, he messes up the meeting of his mom and dad where they originally met and fell in love later and everything else. So because he takes his father's place in the scenario, his future mom begins to fall in love with him. Yes, I know. It's crazy. Wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey stuff, right? So she starts falling in love with him, and she starts making moves on him, and she almost bangs her own son. So it is an Oedipal, complex thing, an Oedipal kid, and he calls him a chicken. So this is a big trigger for Marty, especially in the second movie. Every time somebody calls him chicken, like, he takes that personally and he rages out to the point where he doesn't care about the consequences. And he's like, nobody calls me chicken. And it always gets him in trouble.
And I'm a Piccadilly, but I'm a lot different. Cause you're a pitiful hillbilly hanging with an edible kid who's a buck chicken.
Nobody calls me chicken.
This is between us.
Oh, and the guitar, which is one of my favorite scenes. So Marty's in a band in the movie, and one of the best scenes in the first movie, spoilers, Marty gets invited to play with the band at the Enchantment Under the Sea dance, which is like, I forget what it is. Is it like the prom, I guess? I don't remember what it is, or if it's just a dance or whatever. But basically, it's at the high school. And he gets invited on stage, and he ends up playing Johnny Be Good, which has not been released yet because it's 1955. But the scene is so amazing because it sets up, apparently, the lead singer in the band that Marty's playing with is Marvin Berry. And guess who his cousin is? Chuck Berry. So the movie tries to perpetrate that Marty McFly invented rock and roll, and the song Johnny Be Good was basically stolen by Chuck Berry from Marty McFly. You can't make this stuff up. And the scene is so over the top because when Chuck Berry's on the phone, to really hit home, to make sure everybody gets a joke, he has to overemphasize everything. He's like, Chuck, it's your cousin, Marvin Berry. You know that new sound you looking for? Well, listen to this. Yeah.
Little kid who's a buck chicken.
Nobody calls me chicken.
This is between us, Scarfy. Don't try to outrun me. You'll find out.
This is between us, Scarfy. So, of course, making fun of his scarf. And he's saying it's between us. Don't bring Marty into this. You'll find I'm as grimy.
I'm as grimy as any slimy time, limey. I'll use your...
Oh, damn. Oh, really, Doc? We're going there? Okay.
Don't try to
outrhyme me. Well, that's the whole point of a rap battle, Doc. I don't know if anybody told you how it works.
Run me. You'll find I'm as grimy as any slimy time.
You'll find I'm as grimy. So grimy being, like a rap phrase for like, yo, we can get down in the streets. I can get dirty. I can get as grimy as anybody. As any slimy time limey. So this could be a reference to Time Lord, the 10th Doctor's, wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. So instead of timey wimey, timey limey. And the Doctor is English. So limey is a derogatory term for an English person, even though the 10th Doctor is actually Scottish. Yeah, but that was kind of a low blow there.
I'm Limey. I'll use your porta potty time machine as my latrine. You're not a cat with 9 lives. You're a pussy with 13.
Oh shit. Oh wow. Oh wow. So basically he's saying the TARDIS, which again is a call box, resembles at least a porta potty, which is a portable toilet mainly found on like construction sites, just basically outside, and they look like little booths. That's all they are. And he said, I'm going to use it like a latrine. So latrine is another term for a toilet.
Time machine is my latrine. You're not a cat with 9 lives. You're a pussy with 13.
Wow. You're not a cat with 9 lives. You're a pussy with 13. So again, referencing that the Doc has 13 lives because the Doctor can regenerate. So from the first Doctor, there's 12 regenerations, which equals 13 lives. And it's a trope. Cats have 9 lives. So he's saying you're not a cat with 9 lives. You're just a pussy with 13. And pussy being another term for cat, but also for calling out, somebody else's machismo or manhood.
Hold on! Who's that?
Who won? I think that's not even a question as usual. I think it's a statement. But I was told to keep watching. Oh, I get it. I was wondering why in the beginning they didn't say epic. They just said rap battles of history. And now they say the epic part.
Rap battle of the Doc Brown! Forces!
Oh shit, it's like, okay, we're going back in time.
Doctor Who!
Ooh, actually, if you don't mind, it's just the Doctor.
Oh shit, it was like a time loop, and then the Doctor pulled out the sonic screwdriver. Okay, I get it. The Doctor basically used his Time Lord powers to negate the entire battle, basically, right? That's the way I read it. Holy shit, that was amazing. Like my nerd stuff is just going off in every single direction. That was so good. Who won? I gotta go with Doctor Who, man. Doctor Who had the harder hits. Some of Doc Brown lines just didn't land, especially questioning, like, where's your authority? Doc, he's a Time Lord. And also the you don't have any sex thing, which, again, he does. He's married to River Song. So, yeah. But definitely lived up to the hype. I loved it. Let me know in the comment section what you thought. Let me know who you thought won. Let me know what you think the best line was. I will give Doc Brown's last line was great. You're not a cat with 9 lives. You're just a pussy with 13. That was good. But I think overall Doctor Who did win. Like I said, who won? Like I said, that's not a question. That's a statement. So absolutely amazing. I love ERB so much. Really appreciate the support, fam. Thank you for everything. As always, going to shout out the Patreons, and I will see you in the next one. And please check out the links in the description, especially for the new podcast, Getting Strange. We debuted our first episode. It is now available on all podcast streaming services, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, Amazon, Last.fm, basically anywhere. Just search Teacher Eddie, and you'll find Getting Strange with Eddie and Allie. And all the other links in the description for social media, support, and everything else. Love you guys. See you in the next one, fam. And shouting out the Patreons who keep things running, starting with the Chancellors. Chris H., Blue Tech, Phoenix, Laughing Jackal, Electra James, Elena G., and Douglas C. The Principals, James R., Spacey Doodle, Ulrike, Mick, Quiet J., Clement, Vajandra, Muri